There's gonna be 3 parts in the uploads on the channel. What a mess.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be 3 uploads on the channel, but I can live with that.
Yeah,
I can live with that. So now the question is, we need Laureline to come in and tell us if the audio is okay.
Yeah.
Or if there's an echo. If there's an echo now, we know it's you. If there is no echo, then we know it's because of having 3 feeds together.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Does it sound? To me, it sounds fine.
Yeah, for me, it sounded fine the whole time.
Yeah, same thing here. Same thing here. It's just really weird.
And I have like the sound coming from here, from the phones, and then the mic is also in the headphones.
Oh, see.
But there's nothing coming from the laptop like sound. There shouldn't be any feedback, you know.
See, for me, the audio I get it here, but the mic is in the camera.
Yeah. Even that shouldn't matter if you don't have speakers on. Then there's no sound that would go to the camera microphone.
Yeah, no. There's like the only audio that's coming out. It's on my headphones, so that's why I don't understand why there was this circulating.
Yeah, same here.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's working fine now. I don't know. Nobody said anything otherwise, so I'm assuming we're good. Where's Laureline? Send her a text.
Yeah, I sent her a text. Come check the audio.
Yeah. All right. So
I'm asking Philip from Nuclear. Used to be Nuclear Blast.
Yeah, it's hard for us because for us it sounds fine. So.
Yeah, man.
It's just.
Actually, can you talk a bit, like, because if I could hear from the phone.
Yeah, but now you're gonna have feedback.
No, it's not gonna. It's so low that it shouldn't be the same kind of thing. So I'm asking. Yeah, now it works perfect.
Yeah, it works perfect. So it's definitely the 3 people on the same feed.
I crack up a little. Well.
Sounds fine.
Okay.
Thank you, Marianne.
Marianne, do I still crack up?
He's just on crack. Salo's just on crack.
Am I still on crack?
Yeah.
Good sound.
He's just on crack. Salo is just on crack.
And I was lynched in vain.
So today we're doing. So if the sound is good now, we know the issue is with Skype having 3 different feeds. You know what I mean? Which was the problem. Because when I did it with Semi, it was fine, and now the 2 of us together, it's fine. So we cannot have 3 people together at the same time. It creates an audio problem. That's the issue. Unless maybe because I'm thinking now maybe because the conversation that we fed from Skype, all 3 of us were together on the same conversation. Maybe if I had 2 separate conversations and I brought you guys in separately, maybe the audio wouldn't have crossed the deal.
Yeah, I think if you're gonna do it with 2 other people now, you should. Yeah, maybe if it's possible, just do a conversation that you start with Asim, then you switch it in middle.
Yeah, I think the
have it organized.
The way I brought in the feed in. You guys were part of the same feed because we were all together in the same Skype conversation, and I brought in like that. I think if you do it, you have to do it with one Skype window and another Skype window, and then bring those. It's going to be complicated. It's better to just keep it one-on-one. Anyways, let's move on from that, Salo. Let's talk about Metal de Facto.
Yes.
Is there any news from the Metal de Facto camp?
Well. We were supposed to play these like the biggest metal festivals in Finland, you know, which is a great chance for like a new band, right? Like Tuska and Numirok, and that got cancelled now. So, but of course you have to kind of take it as it goes, like the force majeure situation. It happened, so what can we do now? So actually we've been already working on songs for the next album. And we have 2 releases coming up in the following months, like already next month and one after that. So we've been kind of working to provide something, you know, just to keep the band, you know, active and stuff. So we have one single and EP coming and some music videos and stuff like this. So there's some cool extra as well for people.
Yeah, I'm honestly, I'm really bummed out. By the way, before, just want to say, somebody mentioned that it's not the issue with Skype. No, the issue is, let me explain this. The issue is if I'm doing an interview with Sammy and Salo, and I'm recording it on Skype and then uploading it later, it's fine. We could hear each other without any echo whatsoever. The issue is then when you try to bring more than 2 feeds from Skype into YouTube, it starts to create an echo between them. So it seems like one-on-one it works fine. One-on-one works fine, but if there's more than 2 people on Skype coming into live stream on YouTube, it creates an echo. At least that's the problem we found. Because last week with Asim, there was no issues. Right now with you, there's no issues. With me and Sammy, there was no issues. So it must really be the having multiple feeds. But going on that, I'm really bummed out because what people don't know is that we were planning on having an A&P-REACTS metal night in Helsinki this summer, this August. The venue was booked, the bands were booked, and Metal de Facto was going to be one of those bands. I'm so fucking bummed out.
Yeah. Well, it happens, and this is going to make it even more special when you come and it actually happens, all this emotional overload from 2020 when everything got canceled and, it was such a crap time. And then when it's going to come back, when we have shows and you guys can come here again, it's going to be such a powerful thing,
I think I agree with you. I'm really excited. I mean, obviously we're going to push everything to 2021. So we still gonna plan on having the A&P-REACTS Metal Night in 2021, and we gonna, I'm gonna talk to the promoters and all of that stuff so that we can bring the same bands that we had in mind for this year, bring them back next year for that show.
Yeah.
Because the lineup was killer. I mean, I don't want to say who the bands were because now the show is canceled, but the lineups were absolutely killer. Man, I'm so bummed out. And but now even Tuska's been canceled, right? Numi Rock as well.
Yeah, and you know the band Symphony X, the American,
the American band.
North American band. I really love that band, and I noticed when you check the Arion song, the big epic, and they had the singer from Symphony X, Russell Allen, singing. He's like one of my biggest idols in singing ever. And we were supposed to play the same day on the same venue, same stage as Symphony X at Tuska this year. So I was like, I'm gonna meet my heroes, and I'm gonna say, I'm also gonna perform here, and we're gonna have a chat and everything. It's gonna be like a dream come true. And immediately, when the show got confirmed, and everything, like 1 week after, like the Corona stuff started to roll out, I was like, oh my god,
it was not meant to be. It was just not meant to be.
Yeah, exactly. And I have met them before. So, like, just going as a fan and being like, my name is Mikael and I'm from Finland and I'm a big fan. But now I could have been like with the artist past, come backstage and stuff, and like probably could have had a real conversation and stuff. That would have been really amazing. But fate decided it's not going to go that way. But maybe in the future. So
what are you gonna do? I just hope that these festivals, as they get booked for 2021, they'll be able to bring the same bands back into 2021.
Yeah,
that's what
I really hope that happens.
That's what I'm hoping. I just listen. Life is life. Things happen. Shit hits the fan. Mm-hmm. Somebody had some bad soup, and what are you gonna do? It is what it is. I don't know about you, man, but sometimes
only Ozzy Osbourne can have a bad soup safely.
Oh my God, only Ozzy. Yeah, he's immune. Maybe we should use his blood as a vaccine.
Yeah, hey, it would be pretty epic if A&P-REACTS was the entity that would discover a working vaccine for coronavirus.
I don't think that's going to happen. I spend my days.
It was his blood.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, I hope I'm immune, but I don't think it's going to happen. But. It's just crazy, man. Sometimes I don't know about you, but sometimes I walk around the house and I have a mental breakdown about this whole coronavirus. Like, most of the time I'm okay. Most of the time I'm fine. I'm happy. I'm glad I'm not sick. I'm okay. And then like last night we were watching a movie, and then at the end of the movie I was like, that damn fucking bat soup motherfucker, you ruined my life. You know, I just had like this huge like mental breakdown. You know, like why did this had to happen? This year was going to be amazing, like this and that. So sometimes it gets to me, and sometimes I can't hold it in, and I just have this absolutely mental breakdown.
Yeah, but I do think it's kind of a good wake up call for everyone, that like how fragile everything is, you know, and like how we should. It's so important to realize how when things are going great, like how lucky we are, you know, how amazing our lives are, you know. And I think after this stuff goes away, we have, you know, vaccines and stuff, and you know it's gonna get better eventually. You know, I think we're gonna value this stuff that we have, like health and family and being able to be free and travel and see the world and stuff. Like it's such a privilege. Like
it is, and I think we take it.
It's quite amazing.
We took it for granted.
We take it for granted.
Yeah,
yeah, definitely. Yeah,
definitely. Somebody just said buy all the Metal de Facto merch. So yeah, you have to keep Mikael Salo sustainable. He has to pay the rent. He has to pay the rent. By the way,
you know I'm a waiter. You know I'm a waiter. So no, I don't have a job. That job anymore.
I thought
restaurants are closed. So.
I thought you were working at a hamburger place.
Yes, exactly. But that I got fired because no job. So, or they told me that whenever we need a waiter, we're gonna contact you. So maybe in 2 years.
So what are you doing now to pay the rent?
We founded a gym with my friends, and it's an outside gym, like in a beach. So we've been actually planning this for years with my friends, and I was lucky that I could make that my job now.
So what do you do at the gym?
I'm just a cashier and doing social media, and now we're kind of building it. So I'm like building the stuff as well, or helping the main building guys.
You have no muscles.
Well, hey, that's gonna be fixed now. I should send you some of the stickers. This is the shameless promotion. It's called Rautaranta, which means like Iron Beach.
Wow, I like the way you press on the R's. The way you press on the R's.
Yeah, it's almost like Joachim from Sabaton, like samurai. You know,
oh, you did.
I freaking love it. That makes Sabaton for me. You know?
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Sabaton. Since you brought it up, let's talk a little bit about Sabaton. I think one of the great things about Sabaton is just that his accent, the way he rolls the R's, is to me one of the attracting things about Sabaton.
Yeah, I think whatever you have, like personality, is important. You know, I think what would be a good example, Ozzy Osbourne. If you would take him to like a singing teacher, I think most of them would like wreck him. Like, oh, you have horrible technique and you use the voice the wrong way, but that's his tone, that's his personality, and the mannerisms he has makes him, you know, the Prince of Darkness and the sound and, you know, the legend, you know.
Yeah,
and also eating bat's head live.
And I think with Sabaton,
and
it's a little bit of that. You have, I mean, they're great musicians, but then, you know, I call him Chuck Liddell. So Joachim's voice, Chuck Liddell, he just has this great larger-than-life presence. And I think that's all of that is part of the allure of why Sabaton is as popular as they are.
Yeah, totally deserved. And what a live band! Like it's one of those big shows, you know, like Rammstein and Pink Floyd, and now like Sabaton is one of the new ones.
Yeah, so. They toured in North America last year. Was the first time that they brought the tank with them. I think. They toured for 3 weeks in North America. I think they only had 2 shows that were not sellouts. Everything else was sold out.
Yeah.
So they're really big here.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. Yeah. Shame for them that because they just had the new album, and now it's like no tours and stuff, and they've probably invested a lot with the band business to all the props and the gear and everything for this huge tour, and then it gets cut like when it just started, you know, because for smaller bands like my bands which have no budget whatsoever. Like we have no investments in the
You have no
touring
money.
machine, you know. The big, yeah, exactly. So but I just have my mother's made freaking socks on stage, and you know, like nothing fancy. But like for these big bands, like they invest so much money that they plan this tour and everything. So it might really like make them bankrupt and stuff. So I hope that kind of stuff doesn't happen for the big productions.
I think Sabaton was okay because they toured in North America last year, and then this year, right before the Corona thing got really crazy, I think they were able to finish off their European tour. I think they made, I think maybe one or two shows at the end of the tour they weren't able to do, but I think most of their European tour, because it was early in the year, they finished it off in Russia, and I think they were able to finish it up. Maybe like one or two shows got canceled, but I think most of it they were able to do. But they have a Sabaton cruise coming up. I don't know if that's going to happen, so we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah,
So besides Sabaton, what do you listen to? What music do you listen to?
Well, I listen to a lot of stuff, a lot of different stuff. Like I like just like listening to some Hawaiian, very like chill music at times, and then at times I really need some Iced Earth or something like Dante's Inferno, like really dark, heavy stuff. It all fits a different mood, you know. So, but I don't listen that much to death metal, and you love like melodic death metal. That's like the thing for you. But I do like bands like Winter Sun and Enzi from Whisper. Those are kind of like the most like in the gruntish area that I venture into. Maybe Fintroll, you know.
You were talking about.
But I don't go really to the really rough stuff. Like that's maybe not.
When I was talking to Sammy,
stuff.
You were on the chat and you were talking about Teresa's. Is there a band that you really like?
I love them. Really like them, and they have a lot of personalities. Like the way Matthias makes songs is really cool. Why do you hate Trivium?
I don't.
Somebody's trying to make. They probably meant me.
Oh, you don't like Trivium?
Well, I haven't ever listened to them, so you know.
You've never listened to Trivium?
Politician answer to not make an opinion known. Well, I've heard something, but it's not my genre. You know, it's not my stuff.
It's not your cup of tea.
So yeah.
It's not your cup of tea. Well, I mean, it is what it is. Not everybody's going to like everything. I mean, not everybody's going to like. I don't know, Thyro or one of the other bands.
Solo bands. Yeah.
So
it's funny. The fun thing about me is because I have these 4 bands, right? So all of the fan bases of the different bands tell me that I should focus on that band and skip the others. So, like every single band, there are fans who say like, you should just do like full-time Metal de Facto or Diecrest or Tyro or Everfrost, like, you know, because I want more material and stuff. But the reason I can also do those bands is because I have the time to do them. And, you know, if I would only be in one of those bands, actually I would have to wait quite a bit at times because, like, there's a drum recording going on, or a guitar recording, or a bass recording. And you know, and songwriting takes time. And everyone has to really bring in their share to the songwriting. So it takes so much time to get another cycle going. And because none of my bands are really actively touring, that's why I'm able to do so many bands simultaneously.
That makes sense.
But yeah, it's quite funny how they, like, the fan bases argue which I should focus more on.
And by fan,
that's good.
By fan base, you mean like 4 people are arguing with each other?
Yeah, basically Laureline. No, just kidding. Actually, like, actually, you might not believe it, but there are some fans.
No, I believe it. I'm just busting your balls. I believe it. I just think it's funny. I just think it's funny that you went down that road with Laureline. By the way, she's moving back to Belgium. Did she tell you that?
Yeah. Temporarily. She told me at least, but maybe you have more information. But
yeah. Finland is not going to be the same without Laureline.
Oh yeah. You know, who am I going to kidnap in a park? And I cannot do my drunk dials anymore.
I know.
in the park.
I know. Fuck. Well, social distancing, man. You can't be with her in the park anyways.
Oh yeah, exactly.
So now for you,
I have to like remote.
So for you as a musician,
kidnap her.
A starving musician who just got fired from his hamburger place that he worked at, that started an outdoor gym in a place that only had summer during 2 months.
Best business plan ever.
This is perhaps like not the right path for a successful financial life. So, how are you paying your rent?
Well,
it's really like, is the government helping people in Finland? Like, let's face it, the facts. In Finland, there's a lot of different artists, right? There's a lot of musicians, a lot of art. Is the government helping musicians and artists during this difficult time?
Yeah, if you're unemployed, you get like an unemployment benefit from the government. And if you are not able to pay your rent, you're going to get a benefit for that as well. And then we have like free healthcare and free education, and the student loans are really amazing. Like you can get them from really, really low interest and stuff, and they're supported by the government. So there's a lot of mechanisms that you can survive on. And it's funny because, I'm like a small artist, but some of the big bands from Finland, like those guys are also on the benefits now. People who are really like well known. So it just tells you how much the live thing is what being a musician is about, for selling merch and getting tickets. So yeah, like the streaming money doesn't, make a living for you. And usually merchandise neither, because like there's no hype without the tour, to sell the merch and stuff. So it's really tough for even the big bands.
Everybody's in the same boat, right? Because there's no money on streams. Yeah. There's no money from selling the records. Really, the money comes from you doing the tours and then selling the merch during the tours. And that's really where your money is coming from. And now with not knowing when's the next time you can do a live show or do a tour, it really the main avenue of income is taken away.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, like you said, it's for many people. Like think about restaurants or
hotels
or whatever. Yeah, and like I just read an article that the movie, like cinema industry is like completely like screwed. Because it's 100% off from the income, but you still have to pay rent for your premises. So it's super hard for them to like, how are we gonna pay the rent and all this stuff. So
yeah, somebody asked,
especially because
somebody's asking if Laureline is your girlfriend.
No, she's not my girlfriend, but she's a Belgian girl who lives in Finland and is like very prominent journalist and like very prominent person in the metal scene in Finland. She has this magazine called Tuonela magazine. So
what does that mean, anyways? I never asked her. What does the name of the magazine mean?
Tuonela is like hell or like underworld in Finnish. Yeah, and actually Jouni from Whisper just made like an intro video and a logo for Tuonela, and then Benji from Everforce made the song.
Oh wow!
For that. Yeah, it's a small circle in Finland. Like everyone knows each other.
That is true. I know that for a fact, because when we started our channel and we started to meet different people from different bands in Finland, it was, you meet one person, that person introduces you to another person, that person introduces you to another person. Next thing you know almost everybody. It's just a really small world.
Yeah. But it's quite nice because the scene is like it's really warm. Everyone kind of like knows that the tiring and problematic stuff about music industry. So people just go to Majava and talk together, and everyone is kind of like on the same boat. I guess if metal was like a stadium level thing more, there maybe would be more rivalry between the companies and the managements, and it would be less like just people.
That's one of the things that impressed me a lot about Finland. It was the the friendship between the bands and between the band members. Everybody's friends with each other. Everybody supports each other, and there's not this feeling of if you make it, you're taking it away from me. So there's not this cutthroat business mentality. I honestly, having been to Finland, having spent a week there with you guys and all the people that I know from Finland, I know I don't get that attitude of cutthroat. It's like we're all here together. We all going to help each other out. So if I can help you, then you help me, and so forth and so forth. I really like that mentality.
Yeah, I like it too. Yeah, and so many people have wanted to help me, you know, like because like I'm nobody, you know, like but like all these like big people from big bands, like if I ever ask them anything or you know like meet them or anything, they always want to help me to succeed. And it's not like, oh man, this newcomer, like he's like threat or something, you know, like let's keep him down. But everyone wants to succeed, because I think people understand that if like metal is doing well, because I think around 2007 was like the big time for metal in Finland. It was like mainstream, and you had like radio all the time playing metal, and metal was like super popular. Like it was easier for people to make money, and the opportunities were great. But then now it's like all the EDM and rap is the big thing here as well.
Really?
And even if we have the but even if we have the big metal scene, probably biggest in the world, like if you take into account the population, I think people kind of understand, hey, we need to work together so that these festivals exist. And you know, for example, you guys are doing such a favor for the metal scene, especially Finnish, because you have so many Finnish bands and stuff, you know. So I think the Finnish metal bands kind of appreciate that, and they want, like, I think there was like almost competition who could take you around in Finland, who could take you to the sauna, because everyone wants you guys to succeed and have a great time, you know.
Hey, listen, we're
because it's good for all of us, and it feels so great when you see someone like, for example, the reaction video, and someone is looking at your music, something you work really hard, you usually have a side job, and you do it on the hours after your work, and you're tired, and then some people in the internet go like, oh, this is horrible crap, after you invest all of your extra money and time into it. So having these positive kind of forces, I don't know, like supportive communities is so great. You know, it's awesome.
I and you know this, we don't monetize our channel. We don't make any money off of the channel whatsoever. That's not the reason why we started the channel. We really started the channel just to hang out, listen to music together, and for me and Antonio to just spend as much time together as possible. So everything that's come from it, we're very grateful for it. And we realize that this is kind of, I don't know if you see it that way, but I see this as being a little bit of a vicious cycle. Do you know what I mean? Like the bigger we get, the more opportunities we get with bigger bands, and then the more opportunities we get with bigger bands, the bigger we get. So, and then we also help the smaller bands, because we also give a lot of time and attention to small bands. So it's kind of like a winning formula, because as one gets bigger, the other one gets bigger, and everything kind of just keeps growing and growing and growing. So I think it works well for everybody.
Yeah, but you probably find it harder when you have all these labels and big bands contacting you to find the time for the small indie
I'll be honest with you. The part that is hard is the part that I want to help, and Antonio feels the same way. We want to help as many bands as possible, specifically smaller bands. But it's impossible to, because it's like this. If we were just to do videos of small bands, then who's going to watch, right? So at that point, you're not helping those bands either. So you have to have a mixture of like, okay, like we're going to check out a video from Encephalum today, and then tomorrow we can do a Diecrest video, and then the next day we can do a Nightwish video. Like we have to kind of like alternate so that we can use the popularity of the big bands to help promote the smaller bands. So there's a fine balance that you have to work. So for me, the part that's frustrating is that we cannot help everybody. We cannot listen to everybody.
Oh yeah. But that's reality. That's reality. The fact that you are already taking as much as you can and kind of mixing it, like that's already like more than great for the indie scene as well.
Yeah.
And you know what do you do if a small band becomes big? Are you gonna like not do their videos anymore?
No. Like, I mean, we try.
Of course, you have to like.
At the end of the day, we also have to check bands. I mean, there. For example, I think on the channel we've only done once a Metallica song once. I mean, who hasn't heard Metallica? What's the point of us doing a Metallica video? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, it's just, I don't see any benefit. There's no benefit to me, and there's no benefit to my son, which is the reason why we started the channel, was for us to discover music together. So there's no benefit for us to do a video of One or Harvester of Sorrow or whatever, songs that we've heard a million times, right? So to me, that's not the point of even why the channel was created. To me, if we went down, because I see, and I'm not criticizing anybody, everybody does whatever they want to do. But if people want to do Slipknot videos every week and Metallica videos every week and Disturbed videos every week, because those give you 100,000 views and whatsoever, that's your problem. You do whatever you feel like it's important for you. For me, I'm more interested in discovering new bands and discovering new music. You know what I mean? So I don't look at the popularity of the band, and based on the popularity of the band, okay, we're not going to check it or we're going to check it. But I do look in terms of how many videos we do in a week of which bands are on the popularity scale. You know what I mean? Because, like I said, we get maybe, I don't know, 10 to 20 emails a day with albums, videos, maybe more than that for us to check out. It's impossible to do everything. So you have to kind of pick and choose what you're going to do on the channel and try to blend that mix as good as you can possibly can in order to have a nice variety. It's difficult. It's becoming more difficult as the channel grows, because you get more people coming to you and asking you for you to check this and check that. But my opinion is we have to stay true to why we started the channel. Otherwise, you lose focus and you become something that you're not, and that's not why we're here. You know what I mean?
Formula, the thing you do, you rotate the bigger bands and the smaller bands, and it's like everyone is in the same boat, and you help out both bands,
Yeah, and if a big band. Listen, if a big band is releasing an album, obviously we're going to check out at least one video from that band. You know what I mean? Like Trivium released a new album. We did one video from Trivium. Like, we didn't do every video that they released. We did one video. And I'm a huge fan of Trivium. You know what I mean? So I just feel like you have to have that fine, that medium that really works for you. And then obviously there's certain bands that you really like, so you're obviously going to gravitate towards some more than others. And it's just, you have to try to find a balance. But we always make sure we give smaller bands. I mean, we've done Thyro on the channel, we've done Everfrost on the channel.
Thank you for that.
We never shy away from doing bands that are less known. It's just like I said, we don't have enough time to do all of the ones that reach out to us. It's impossible. So that I always apologize, but it is what it is. But anyways, we're not here to talk about me. We're here to talk about you.
No, it's two-way conversation, and it's really interesting to hear this. So
yeah, I think from my perspective, sometimes the part that bothers me is people think we're making money off of you, the musicians. And that's not true. We make $0 on the channel. We don't monetize the channel. We don't want to monetize the channel. We don't want to make money off of the art. The artist is already, this. You guys already are making very little money to begin with. You don't need another person with their hands in your pockets. You know what I'm saying? So that was never our goal. That was never our intention. And sometimes it gets frustrating when people think that, the reason why you check out that video is because they paid you to check out that video. We've never received one single dollar to do a video on the channel. Never.
Have people offered that though?
If people offer us money to do videos,
we will pay you if you do a video or something like that.
People have asked us, how much do we charge?
Oh, okay.
So bands have asked us, how much do we charge? PR companies have asked us, how much do we charge? And even, for example, it's happened where bands will say, hey, listen, we'll send you guys a box of merch, t-shirts, hoodies, whatever, and you guys can check out our video. And my answer is always the same to everybody. I don't want anything. We'll check out the video, and if we like the music, and you guys, and you guys think the video was cool and whatever, and you want to send us, a T-shirt, I'm okay with that. But I don't want anything from you until the day we do the video. I don't want to feel obligated to. First of all, I don't want to feel obligated to do the video, and two, I don't want to feel obligated to like the video. I don't want to feel like I don't want to feel like I'm being bought. Do you understand what I'm saying? So
yeah, I remember some times when you haven't completely felt the song.
Yeah, I mean, there's some songs that you just don't like for whatever. But I always that takes into another topic. But I just want to say this: like, we don't. This happens a lot. People asking us, so how much do you charge for a song? How much do you charge for an album review? Or can we send you merch or all of that? I just want to make that clear. The answer has always been no to all of those things. And it's always been, for sure, no to money. We don't want any money whatsoever. If the band wants to send us a T-shirt, that's fine, but do not send us the T-shirt until we do the video. Because we may not like the music, and if we don't like the music, then I don't want the T-shirt anyways. You know what I mean? I'm just being honest. So that's always been our policy as far as that stuff is concerned. We always, and I think that's the winning formula, because even with the labels allow us to use the videos without copywriting. What I mean by copywriting is, people have a hard time understanding this, but if we do a Metal de Facto video, you guys are signed to Rockshot Records. So if we do a Metal de Facto video, the moment we upload the video, Rockshot Records takes over that video. They become the owners of that video, and any advertisement that's generated from that video, they collect that money. And that happens with every video that we do, right? So, but the label has the option of blocking that video, of saying that, no, we don't want you to use that video, therefore we're going to copyright block that video, and we can't use the video. So the labels give us the freedom that they don't block the videos. Even when the videos get blocked, which happens very often, the videos get automatically blocked by YouTube. All we do is we send a link of the video to the label, and then they unblock it on our behalf. They contact YouTube and say, no, these guys are okay. They can use the video, and it gets unblocked. So, and
that's so weird, because it's like free publicity from an almost 50K subscriber channel, you know?
I know.
Like, why would you block it? Like it doesn't make any sense.
The video is blocked universally. Like, it's not just blocking us, right? Like, so when a label uploads the copyright to YouTube, they define the restrictions that they want on that song. So then anybody who uploads that song, regardless if it's us or whoever, everybody falls under those same guidelines that they put forward for that video. It's something that's done automatically. But now, because we have a good relationship with most of the labels, we're able to contact the label rep, and they are able to clear it on our behalf.
Yeah, and it's funny, because sometimes I get like contact from people like, hey, I want to upload your song on my channel. Like, is it okay? And I always get like excited, like, really, you want to upload my song? Like, hell yeah, like, go for it, please. And then I'm going to share it everywhere, and I'm excited that someone shares my song. And because you always get some extra views, and new people are going to hear it, you know, which is a big thing for a small indie artist, you know. Like, people are not going to check. You know, if I just upload something, you know, it's going to be only like my followers or that band's followers who check it. But we need new people to hear it. You know,
I know, but you got to look at the big picture, right? Imagine, for example, that some Nazi YouTube channel uploads a video and it uses one of your songs. You really want your music to be associated.
Yeah, well, that's different. That's different. Because they have like a political
but that's
message.
why a lot of the labels, they have the restrictions on the videos, because they don't know who's going to then use their music for something else.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but then you cut all the good as well.
Yeah,
so it's not really a solution. It's a lazy solution.
Yeah,
because then you cut all.
I agree with you.
Even though there would be only one bad one, so you should handpick the ones that are like somehow political.
Yeah, I agree with you.
In my opinion, like, I think that YouTube bots and algorithms it's not a good system, because a lot of people, if they talk about, for example, history of war, everything gets demonetized and there's problems just because you have war on the title, but the content is not necessarily anything provoking war or saying that war is great. So it's like, it's like the Sabaton thing they had with the history thing with the Winter War. Like there was this like huge controversy and that got blocked and everything. And stuff like this should be somehow handpicked and done carefully, and you have to contact. You have to have some kind of communication because it's so rare in the end. I don't think there's like all the time YouTube is like gouging out like some terrorist content with like just random bands' music. Of course, it could happen, but I don't ever see that. So I don't think it's like a prominent problem there.
No, I don't.
But then I see a lot of people getting blocked and having problems just trying to like make content and stuff.
No, I agree with you on that. I think for me personally, now that the channel is it's not a huge channel, but it's bigger enough now that we've also developed a relationship with the labels. We're in a really good place that we can use almost any label across the board. I mean, I think there's maybe one or two exceptions. We can use their videos, and if there's any problem, they help us out because they understand that we're doing a free service. That's all we're doing. We're doing free publicity. You know what I mean? Who doesn't want? In the world today, who doesn't want free publicity, right? So,
exactly.
I think it works out really well. But another thing I wanted to mention is in terms of the reviews. Somebody was asking, how come you always have positive things to say on the album reviews? It's not always having something positive to say. Is that I get on average, like I said, 10 to 20 albums or songs sent to me every day. So I pick the stuff that I like, because what's the point of me wasting my time listening to music that I don't like and then recording a review of an album that I didn't like? I mean, to me, it's a waste of time. Like when I got the Everfrost album for a review, I look at it and I say, okay, I'm going to listen to it. If I like it, I'll review it. If I don't like it, I'm not going to review it, because I know how much work you guys put into the record, and I know how much work went into creating that music. Who am I to shit on it? And why would I waste my time to shit on it? That whole thing doesn't make sense to me. So there's a few exceptions. If it's a really popular band, like let's talk about one of those bands that I know I'm going to get asked in the comment section all the time, when are you going to review this? When are you going to review this? Then, okay.
New Sabaton album, new Nightwish album, stuff like that.
Let's use Metallica again. So if Metallica is releasing a new album, I'm going to review it even if I don't like it, just because it's one of those big bands that I'm going to check it out. But if I don't know, if Winter Sun was releasing Time 2 and Time 2 was Yachty gargling for an hour, I probably would not review it. You know what I mean? Because what's the point? So that's kind of like a little bit of what goes in my mind when I'm looking at that.
Yeah. So there's a bit of shit filtering going on behind the scenes.
Not in the videos, but in the album reviews, yes.
Yeah. But you don't just pick the albums that you would only have or mostly negative stuff to say about, and that makes sense. If I think it's kind of like, if people want to see like people just bashing on other people's art and stuff, I don't think that's even a healthy hobby. It's kind of passive aggressive tenderness. I think if you just want to see people bashing on others.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that what I try to do is, like, I did an album review this week. I recorded. I haven't posted yet, for a thrash metal band, and they're on a big label, and there was a few things I didn't like about the album. So what I do is, okay, I still review the album. I point out the good stuff, and then I point out the stuff that I didn't like that much. But I do it in a way that's constructive. I explain. I don't just say, I didn't like this because it's shit. No, I explain why I didn't like that and why it didn't work for me. Because at the end of the day, I'm looking at somebody's art. And when I'm looking at somebody's art, it's really subjective. Just because I don't like it doesn't mean somebody else is not going to like it. Right? So I have to take that kind of approach. I don't take. Let me put it this way bluntly. I don't take the channel or the platform that we have in a careless way. Do you know what I mean? I know that the words that we say have an impact. So because I know that they have an impact, I have to be careful with the words that I choose, because they could help the band, but they could hurt the band. So to me, in the world that we live in today, too many people don't think about what they say before they say it, and to me, that's a problem. So I try to have that more calculated approach, specifically with the album reviews. Now, on the videos, it's we press record, we play the video, whatever happens, happens. So in those ones, like, if we talk about dicks and farts, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing I can do.
Yeah.
Sometimes I look back and I say, oh my God, I can't believe Antonio just said that. It's so embarrassing, because I know the band is going to watch the video. What are they going to think? But then the bands like it because it's so natural. It's just, it's just us.
Yeah, it's real, organic.
Yeah, it's just us talking.
or you should have that as like a side title. A&P-REACTS, like organic metal reactions.
So let's go back into you, Salo. So now that because we've been talking almost for an hour. Yeah, we got okay. Wow. We're talking for 45 minutes. So 15 more minutes and we're going to call it a day, because otherwise my wife is going to have my balls.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but you can say something if something is played very, very bad, like the Nirvana. Oh, come on. The Nirvana cover. Oh, have you seen that, Salo? The Puddle of Mud Nirvana cover?
I've seen some Nirvana covers that were like so bad that they were kind of funny.
Listen.
But even then, I think like there's a difference. Like, you can listen to something and you think it's absolute garbage, and you laugh because like some things are just funny about it to you. And even if you're with a group of friends, it might be fun entertainment and stuff. But the difference is when you start like spouting that like online so that the band can see it and their fans who love them can see it. I think then it's a bit different if you intentionally try to be really hostile and like just like what good does that bring? And people usually, if you say something like I just said, people say, oh, but constructive criticism is so important. Like in internet, like how many percent of the negative comments are constructive criticism? It's like maybe 0.0.1%.
I think it's like this.
It's mostly just people just want to like, get their negativity.
I know. I think you have to. I want to use the Puddle of Mud example that was brought up as an example.
Yeah, sure.
So if I was to, let's say they recorded that as an album. So if I was to review that album, I would not review it because it's shit. Like, why am I going to? Because that means that I'm taking I'm making an effort to record something to shit on it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I wouldn't do that. Yeah. But if I was watching with Antonio the Puddle of Mud video as a reaction video, then I'm going to shit on it because like it's shit. Like you know what I mean? Like I'm not going to go out of my way to shit on it, but if I'm
yeah, but there's a difference already. Like, to go out of your way to spew stuff and just like, the troll, like the negative trolling thing, like it's, you're not going to be happy if you do that. Of course you can go do it, but you're not going to get a really good image of yourself, And you're probably not going to be happy at the end of the day if you're one of those people who spend your time to criticize other people who are doing something, like trying to make something. And
it's all about, to me, it's all
taking
about
risks.
If we've done a couple, we've done most important for a reaction video, keep it real. I 100% agree. It has to be real. That's why I was talking to Francesco from Windrose, and he was like, "Oh, I really like your videos because you guys are like me when I watch a video. You guys are not doing like this and going crazy. Nobody does that when they're watching a video. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you listen to the music and you're like, I like it, whatever. So,
you're not taking it.
No, we're just like
keeping
two guys watching a video, but with a camera recording. That's what it is. Now, to me, where the line is a little bit different is if a band sends me an email and asks us to check out a video, and then the video and the song is shit. Then you know what? Then it's no holds barred.
Yeah.
Because you thought you were really good to the point where you sent out an email and you're asking for somebody's opinion. So at that point in time, you know what? I'm just going to tell you exactly how I feel. I'm not going to try to sugarcoat it.
Yeah, but there is a difference there. Like going out on your way that you kind of get excited
Yeah,
about
exactly.
spewing the
Somebody
negative
just
stuff. That's what I'm talking. It's just being honest and saying it's not your thing and whatever. This is a bit weak and that. That's completely like it's real and they ask for your opinion. So of course that's fine and that's how it should be done. I hate the fake reaction videos, man. Like something is the hype, so people just have to go like, like it's so crazy. Like the Star Wars trailers when they drop. There's so many people who just try to get the fame bandwagon from doing the reaction video, and they don't give a crap actually about. And you can see that it's not like real at all. And that's so useless content.
How many of those people listen to metal on a regular basis? How many of them are going to shows? Like that tells you everything you need to know. They're just doing that because it's what they can get popularity and perhaps they monetize the channel and they can make money.
Oh yeah.
I mean, last year, me and Antonio, like me more than him, but I went to like 120 concerts last year. So it's not like we're doing the videos all like we listen to the music. This is what we listen to at home, right? Yeah. Somebody just said, if you don't like an artist or group, don't react to it. 100%. I mean, if there's some bands that people request that we don't check on the channel, like perfect example, Five Finger Death Punch. I don't like Five Finger Death Punch. So it doesn't matter how many people. It doesn't matter how many people.
But why does it matter? Why is my opinion like important? That's the thing I don't like about people nowadays. Sorry that I cut you off, but I really got to say this point. Like people thinking that they are like the masters of the universe, and they just go there and tell how it is. This album was great, others are shit, and then they put the phone off and they're like really proud of themselves that they said the thing. No. But does that matter to anyone? Like that kind of comment, there's no value. You should spend your time.
And just because you don't like something, it doesn't mean it's not good for other people. That's always like the important aspect. Like, like I don't like Five Finger Death Punch. So if you go on our channel, we have 0 videos from Five Finger Death Punch. I don't like the band. Why am I going to check out a video, even if it's a new song, when I don't like the band? Like, then what? Then I'm going to say that it was shit? Like, what's the point in doing all of that stuff? There's like
what value
whatsoever?
Yeah.
It's like with Nightwish, with the new. By the way, do you like the Nightwish album?
Yes, I was surprised. I have to say by the music. It sounds almost like a classical piece, that the songs flow. And it's not actually that you have like this popular music song, like rock, metal, whatever. You have a song and then you have the next single and then you have the next single. The songs flow from each other, and it's like almost like an album that you have to kind of listen like whole way through. And I don't know, I can understand if some people don't like that. But then again, it's natural for Tuomas, who is the songwriter, to do that, and that felt to him what he wanted to do. So I think that's really cool and brave that they kind of did something very different. And if I think that, oh man, this doesn't sound like Nemo or something, why would that matter? That's the root of my point.
I just want to answer a question there. They're talking about, I mean, I used Five Finger Death Punch as an example. Obviously, what the person is saying, but you could check the band. I'll give you guys an example of a band that we did on the channel that we didn't like, and then we went back again and we did it again. And at least my mind has been changed. Antonio, not so much. So Cattle Decapitation.
Okay.
We did a video for Cattle Decapitation, and neither one of us liked the band. And if you go even further, the first ever Nightwish video that we did was Ghost Love Score. We hated it. We were like, this is like, what is this?
Yeah.
Like we didn't say it was garbage, but we hated it. Those are 2 bands that I can think of that we hated it the first time we did a video of those bands. And then we didn't give up. We said, okay, just because we didn't like this song, it doesn't mean we're not going to like another song. Maybe we'll like a different song. So we went back and we did those bands again. And actually with obviously Nightwish, we love Nightwish, but with Cattle Decapitation, their album that they released last year, Death Atlas, that album, I really rediscovered the band. And I love the album. I did a review. And now I'm a big fan. I've gotten to interview the guys in the band. I've met the guys in the band. I really love the band now. I'm a huge Cattle Decapitation fan now. I wasn't the first time we heard the song. So this is just to say, just because we don't like something, it doesn't mean we can't grow to like it. and we're still going to give that band multiple chances. It's just that if there's a band that I truly don't like, then what's the point? You know, that's all. But yeah, going back to Nightwish.
Yeah.
So it surprised you.
Yeah. Yeah, it surprised me. The way it's composed is very, very interesting. It does feel that it flows from song to song, and you have to kind of listen to it as an album. Of course, the second half is, well, it is like almost like a symphony, you know. It is one song. But even on the first album, it feels like it's a flow of the whole album. And it's cool, it's different. So I was not expecting.
On the album review, I got some criticism because I said that the album is not a concept album, and then people said, "Oh, you're saying it's not a concept album," and then you went and you described the album as if it was a concept album. What I meant was, and feel free to agree or disagree with me on this, because I really want to get your opinion on this. To me, the album is not a concept album from the perspective of the traditional concept idea, like King Diamond, where there's a story and it starts with a character in the first song, and then you get the story of that character go through, like Everfrost, like the album you guys had. That is a concept album, right? The Nightwish album, it's not a concept album from that perspective, but there's a musical concept that the songs flow from one into the other, and it's gaining DNA. Like the first song has a style, the second song takes a little piece of that style and it changes it. Then the next song takes a little piece of the previous two songs. Exactly, a DNA flow, kind of a DNA flow to it. That's exactly how I feel the new Nightwish album is. So it's not a concept album, but there is a concept into how the album flows from track to track. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, that's a musical point. That's a musical point. You know, and usually with concept albums, people associate it with like a running red line, like a story in the lyrical sense, and that, you know, you have characters and stuff like Avantasia, the metal operas, you know, Seventh Son of a Seventh Son by Iron Maiden, stuff like that. But I do think that the album has a theme, and they've stated that it's about the human nature, and human history and culture and stuff like that. But that's kind of a loose thing, and I would call that maybe a theme album. That's how I've made the distinction between like a story album and having an overarching theme. So I think it's a theme album, but not a concept, because there is not like a story that there's this character played by Marco and this character played by Floor and this character played by Troy, for example. Or you don't have like Arion, for example, that you checked recently. And I really enjoyed your reaction video. Like that you have a really clear story and you're taken through this. It's almost like a book or a movie, but in a musical form. But yeah, like the point you said, I think musically it feels like one piece of music, the whole album. Like that's the thing. That doesn't mean that it's a concept album.
So we're on the same page. The album surprised me. It's not a heavy album. It's not a symphonic power metal album. It's almost more like a symphony kind of album. It's more a classical album almost. But to me, there's still certain heavy elements here and there. There's certain nuances here and there. It's a really well crafted record. When you look at the record, you look at all the layers that the record has, how he brought all the band members together. It really feels like an album where every single band member had something to say and something to add to the music. They were not there just to play an instrument. They were there because they had an important role in how that song was constructed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it really feels like that to me. It's a really great record. Somebody just asking about oh my god, my English. What do I think about that band? And what do you think about that band? Have you heard of them? All right, so they're with Season of Mist. I actually got I got all the albums from Season of Mist for review, and I got their new album that came out this year for review. I didn't review it because I didn't like it. So, So I listened to it, but it's not my cup of tea, and if it's not my cup of tea, I listened to it once. I went through it. It's just I'm not saying it's bad. I just didn't. It's not my thing. So I rather listen to something else that I gravitate towards. So
yeah, and it's not such it's not such a big important thing. You know, people think that it's like, oh my god, like did Pedro or someone like it or not? you know, like it's not that important if someone doesn't like it. It's just like it just doesn't meet you.
Yeah,
you know?
it just doesn't speak to you.
And if you don't gravitate towards it, then you probably don't have that much to say about it to really delve in and analyze it. You know, it's going to be very one-sided if you really don't like it, the points that you make. So it kind of makes it more meaningless in a sense, I think. Because for example, there's some movie reviews and some album reviews. I was checking actually. There's this big Finnish music magazine called Soundi, and in the 80s, I read some old reviews from Iron Maiden records, like Number of the Beast, and they gave it like 2 out of 5 stars. And the text was just saying that here the Iron Maiden guys go again trying to be all cool and it doesn't make any sense like Led Zeppelin did. And 2 out of 5. What value does that review bring to anyone? Like someone probably saw it and never checked Number of the Beast because of that review. But then you might have some review that really delves into the album, and even if you give critique in a constructive way, but if you, hey, there's like something like this, and I really appreciate this about this, and just how you analyze like the DNA, it's like a DNA, the music of the new Nightwish album. Like that's something you're actually using your brains to make the review, and it's not just like, oh, I'm feeling bad today, and I'm just gonna say this album is trash, you know. Or a movie or whatever. Like I remember in biggest Finnish newspaper, they said the Lord of the Rings movie's got like 1 star, and they just like, it's lame. And that person gets paid to do that review, and it's quite unbelievable. Like, man, that's such an easy job.
I agree with you. I think when you're emotionally invested into the record, your opinion of the record is going to be more diverse, and you're going to be able to express it a lot better. Like if you don't like a band and I force you to listen to that album and I force you to put an opinion on that album, your opinion is not going to be very detailed because your ear is kind of tuned out.
Yeah. You just want to get
exactly.
it.
Exactly. You just want to get it over with. So your opinion is going to be very simple. It's going to be, the guitars were okay. I don't like the vocals. The album was, it was not good. But if you don't like, if you like the band and you didn't like the album, that is a different story, because then you can go deeper in and say, okay, I didn't like what they did here and here and here, because I was expecting them to do this, this, and this, and they could have done this and this and that, and they did this before. So I think there's a complete different approach depending on, do you like the band? You just didn't like the album. Do you like the album and you like the band? Do you like the band, but the album wasn't very good, but there was some good stuff about it? So to me, there's so many different variations. But when you don't like the band and then you don't like the album, there's really not much to say, It makes it very makes it very difficult. It makes it very difficult. And
it's just like just move on to the next thing that you enjoy. Like it's not it's so like people feel it that it's so important that they say it in the internet or wherever that they hate it, and that's like important to say.
I think the issue with a lot of people is they feel that because they like it, therefore everybody else should like it. You know what I mean? Or they want to.
But that's the opposite.
They feel like they have to be validated. So it's like, if I like this, everybody else has to like it, because that makes me right, because I like it, right? And when it comes to art, it's so subjective. Like, it's all over the place. You just listen. I'm sure there's people who like Everfrost, who don't like Thyro, who like Diecrest, who don't like Metal de Facto, and I'm sure
always saying that I should focus on their favorite one, and like, hey, Mikael, why don't you only sing in Thyro because that's the best one? And I'm like, well, do you understand that it's the best one in your opinion? And just 1 minute ago, I got the message from someone else saying, why are you doing Thyro? That's like so like dumb American rock. Like you should do the sophisticated, great music of Everfrost only and focus your time on that. Like it's like people actually live in this matrix that their opinion is like a universal truth. It's so funny, and people should like I think it's part of the new kind of the social media thing. Sometimes I can't stand Facebook because people like spout like these things as they are like super experts of everything. Even though
I agree.
They have no clue.
I agree with you. I think that one of the things that I've learned is you have to have really thick skin, because when you put your when you put your opinion out there, like when you put your music out there, you have to be ready to hear all the criticism.
Yeah.
It's just the way it goes.
Like Yeah, I think the Winters on Patreon thing is a good.
All right. Okay.
So many people.
So hold on.
People
we've been talking for an hour.
Got almost like hurt.
We've been talking for an hour. So let's do 10 minutes and let's dedicate those. Let's dedicate those 10 minutes
on Patreon
to Winter Sun, and then we're gonna call it a day because Dan is gonna kill me. Because you missed the previous. So disliking the band, no worries, but not liking the album because you missed the previous singer, and you like the sound, you like their sound back then is just.
Yeah.
I think it's an opinion like everything else. I mean, I don't think you should dismiss. A lot of people dismiss bands when the lead. It's hard when a certain lead singer leaves. It's hard. Like Anthrax, you know, to me. When they changed the lead singer in Anthrax, it was like, for me personally, I was like, ooh, it's tough. But, for example, Sound of the White Noise, I really like that album. Same thing with Iron Maiden when they change singers. I mean, a lot of bands do it. I think it's a thing of comfort. You're comfortable with one sound, with one style, with one approach, and then asking you to change to something else, so for some people, is difficult. For me, I don't have that. If the album is good, I could care less on who's in the band or who's not in. Like a perfect example is Burning Witches. They changed their lead singer, and I was criticized for saying that I liked the new lead singer. I'm not saying I didn't like the previous one. I liked the previous one too, but I also like the new one. You know what I mean? Like,
and how can you get like offended or something about if someone else likes something? Like, why do people care? Like, I think that's about the thick skin. Like, people feel that if their opinion is like someone is challenging it just by stating their own opinion, they feel that that's not okay because it's kind of threatening their worldview that they are in the center.
Sal, before because we really have to talk about Winter Sun, but before we do that, I just want to say this thing. The thing that kills me the most is today we posted a Nightwish video, and there's people who hate Nightwish and hate that song, but still take the time to go in the comment section and say, this song is shit, this band is garbage. Okay, nobody's forcing you to watch it. Move on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, don't watch it. Nobody's forcing you.
How do people have time for Corona? But but the Corona time you could spend so much better. You could focus on something cool, and I think people would be better off because people always talk that there's like mental issues are becoming more and more prominent in the world and stuff. I think it's partly because of this social media kind of world we live.
I agree with you. I agree.
People feel that they have to validate themselves by spouting stuff online. You don't have to. You can take your phone, break it, and life goes on. And suddenly you realize that it's maybe not so important. To like go tell that opinion right now.
Listen, I agree with the fact that when a band changes the lead singer, is a huge change, more so than changing a guitar player or a bass player or a drummer or whatever. The lead singer is really like a huge change in a band. But this is the new band that you have. So you have two choices. You continue to listen to the band or you don't. To me, to me, everybody's free to do whatever they want, whatever makes them happy. Life is too short to concentrate on the negatives. To me, there's no perfect formula.
Yeah, and follow internet people's comments like, oh my God, this guy thinks this way. So I should like make my decisions about my art and my business or whatever.
Listen, my favorite albums from Iron Maiden is obviously with Bruce Dickinson, but that doesn't mean the albums that he wasn't there are no good. Do you see what I'm saying? Like,
there's amazing songs.
Yeah, those albums have amazing songs, and I still listen.
Sign of the Cross, Man on the Edge, Lord of the Flies, Future Real, Clansman, like amazing songs.
But anyways,
in my opinion,
my opinion as well, I feel the same way. But anyways, let's go to Winter Sun because Marianne mentioned Winter Sun and all the hate that they're getting about the Patreon. So as we bring this live stream to an end, let's give Winter Sun
final topic.
Let's talk about Winter Sun a little bit. And so, as an artist, how do you look at the whole Winter Sun situation?
Well, I think it's funny how people are shouting that it's so greedy for the band to do this, but people have to realize that bands don't make money anymore, and especially in a situation when you take touring away, plus the merchandise selling and everything, bands have to come up with something, and like they were very open like the Winterson guys about saying, hey, tell us what you want us to provide. And you don't ever have to be a member to get new music. Because like a lot of people were saying that, like it's not even like I get new Winterson if I join Patreon. But wouldn't that be kind of worse if you would have to be a Patreon member on top of being a supportive fan just to get the music? I think if you do Patreon, it kind of has to be content that is not new Winterson music. So like, how would have you done it with the band? Like you have to come up with an income somehow, you know, and then when you come up with this and you take the fans involved, you know, of course you cannot, you know, if you're very transparent and you ask people what do you want and stuff, how can you get so angry and criticize the band for doing that when all this like business has gone away with the corona thing? Like you can't tour, you can't sell merch on tour, you know, you can't spread promotion of the band on tour that people will go and maybe buy the album somehow. It's such a difficult situation. And you know, people love having their Spotify and stuff, and well, YouTube, you get the music for free. You never pay bands anything. So I think when bands do something like that, people almost get shocked that they're asking for money. And it's kind of funny because, you know, if you spend years of crafting anything, of course you expect to get some kind of financial compensation because you have to pay the rent and food and everything. So I think it's a bit ridiculous, the situation, you know, because if you're not a Patreon of Winterson, you're not going to miss on new Winterson music. It's completely voluntary extra content. So why do people get so like, I don't know. I think it's going to help the band actually to produce those albums that they have this side financial thing now because they can't play. So you should be happy that the other people are being Patreons and you don't have to still be a Patreon. And it's going to help Winterson to go forward, you know, as a business, as an entity.
Okay, so now let me give my two
big rant.
The Winterson. Somebody said what I missed about Winterson. Well, Winterson has been getting a lot of slack for starting a Patreon page. So that's kind of what we're talking about here. There's a huge amount of their fans that came to the streets with pitchforks and cocktail Molotovs and flipping cars around and you know, crying foul and stuff like that. Okay, so from my perspective, this is how I see it. I see it from a very simple way. To me, people are confusing the crowdfunding with the Patreon. The two things are separate. Two separate things. Yeah. They're two separate creations, if you will. The way I look about the Patreon is the days that we live in, bands are not making any money even on their music. Let's face the facts. And you know this. I'm not telling you something you don't know. There's just no money. Your money is in tours, is in the merch that you sell in the tours. That's where you're making your money. So I think the Patreon, if you're providing content, and another thing you have to understand is to create the content for Patreon, it costs money. It's not like that content comes free. You know what I mean? Like there's money that's invested to create that content. So first of all, the Patreon is completely up to each person if they want to sign up or not. Nobody's forcing you to do anything whatsoever. Like you said, if a new album comes out, it's not like the album is going to be available only on Patreon. Yeah,
you're not going to miss any new Winterson music. And people are also complaining about that. Hey, like you are only offering like extra content. Like it's not even new music. But wouldn't that be worse if it was like a Patreon lock? To be able to hear the music, because then you would feel betrayed because you're a fan and you always buy the albums, but if you're a member of this digital whatever thing, you can't get the music, then I could understand it. So this is exactly how they should do.
So to me, I look at it this way. When you sign up for Patreon with Winterson, they tell you what you're going to get. So you as a customer have the choice. Okay, is that content worth what they're asking me as far as the money is concerned? If your decision is no, that content is not worth the money, then don't sign up for it. It's as simple as that. If you feel like that content is worth the money, then sign up for it. To me, it's a simple transaction. I don't mind. I don't mind a band going down the Patreon route because I understand the business side of things. And the music is still going to be available to everybody, so it's not like it's just available for the people on Patreon.
Yeah, for free in YouTube. You don't even need a Spotify membership nowadays. You just get it from YouTube.
Yeah. So I don't have an issue. I don't have an issue with the Patreon. I don't have an issue with any band doing a Patreon or doing whatever that they want to do. I don't have an issue with that. I think you're being upfront. You're saying I'm offering this and I'm charging this, and then it's up to the people if they want to buy it or they don't want to buy it. So
exactly,
to me, it's as simple as that. If the band wants to go down this route because this is a way for them to generate revenue so that they can continue to make music, they can continue to be a band. People sometimes forget that there's not much money in music these days. There really isn't. So you have to be creative on how you can make, because you still have to buy food and pay the bills.
Yeah, it's funny how, like, if I think about the money I make from music, and I work on music several hours every day, you know, in the music business, in the industry. And you know, if I think about my like income from music per year, it's minus some thousands of euros. So I actually fund the career with other jobs I do. So it's like, it's not even plus, it's completely minus, because you invest in all this gear, in all this traveling to the rehearsal places. You know, you pay the rent for the rehearsal place. So it's so like it's, every artist in the music industry is like, they do it for the passion. Like, it's not money at all. So if you do something like this and people call it greedy, you know, it's kind of, you know, it's they're just trying to keep the band going in this situation where they can't use the traditional road of touring. So it's like they have running costs all the time for all of the band stuff, you know. So it's like, I don't know. It's not that easy. And people, I think, as human beings, like, this is also connected to the earlier point, we have this tendency, like, I don't know, from some like caveman times, that if we see someone is a bit weak, kind of, or like there's a chance to criticize someone and really like dig deep our own frustrations into them, you know, we kind of tend to like easily get tempted by that, and we do it. And you see this in social media so much. Like, it's kind of really funny that people actually get so wild and angry in social media. When somebody's just saying a different opinion, they actually get their emotions and they really get into it. Listen, I think it's almost like this guilty pleasure of people, this kind of conflict, kind of like trying to tear apart when they're a bit weak, or like there's some point that you are able to kind of attack and critique. Like, people love to seize that opportunity. I think this is something we really need to think about, like, as people, because I don't think it's, like mental health stuff and everything. Like, it's not good for us to indulge in this.
No, and I think
behavior. Yeah.
I think the Patreon stuff, like, people criticize us when we started our Patreon page, but what people don't understand is we don't make any money on the channel. And if we're going to upgrade our camera, our gear, for me to do interviews and do all of these things, where is the money going to come from? You know, so, and once again, it's completely voluntary. If you don't want to help out, you don't help out. If you do, you do. Like, nobody's pointing a gun to your head, right?
You can still watch the videos you guys make.
We still post videos every day on YouTube.
Yeah.
So, to me, the way I look at it, the only issue that I have with the whole Winter Sun Patreon thing, the only issue that I have is that I don't think specifically with Yari, I don't think Yari should be putting himself in a position where he's defending what the band has agreed to do as a whole, because I think that hurts the band and that hurts him. I think a band like Winter Sun should only you shouldn't have band members being necessarily vocal about like defending every single negative post that people are making about it, because I think that hurts them in the end. I think the best is you announce the stuff on the official Facebook page of the band. People can say whatever they want to say, and you reply as the official band, but not as a band member replying, because I think that could become a negative thing. That's my only issue. I think I think the way they handled the negative PR around it was not the best, and in some cases it made the situation even worse.
Yeah, I agree, but it's quite funny because I used to be. It's interesting because now I know Jari, we're friends and everything, but like I used to be just a fan of Winter Sun, and I remember all these like people talking about. Actually, it was around the crowdfunding. I didn't even know him yet, and people were like criticizing, and I was like, kind of like thinking, oh, Jari must be this like kind of like weird guy and maybe not so nice and everything because of like the perception in the internet. And then I meet the guy, and he's like the nicest freaking guy ever. He's always polite to everyone, and he's completely authentic with what he does. And people, I think, sometimes from the fan perspective, because I know it, they don't realize that this is just a person, you know. And just to get up in the morning, do your work, and then on top, with whatever you have, energy and money and stuff, just pouring it into your art. It's so hard, and people should just appreciate that. And realize how tough it is, and not look for these opportunities, you know, to really like jump in and criticize. I think this has been like a theme of my rant. Or
listen,
like what I'm saying. I'm sorry about it, but it's like something I've been really thinking lately, and it's kind of coming out.
I started off as when you started the channel, I started off as a fan of Winterson, and I've gotten to meet everybody in the band. And they were in my house here having dinner when they were on tour in North America.
Amazing. Yeah.
You know, and so I've gotten to know the guys really well. And I must say, Jari is one of the nicest guys I've ever met in my life. And I think a lot of the heat that the band took, he took it personally. And I understand that, but at the same time, it's a business, and you have to take a step back and not be personally involved in that. That's my only criticism. But I'll tell you this much: the people forget that when Wintersun did their last tour in North America, they didn't make almost any money on that tour. They didn't break even, but they made very little, and that very little was from merch that they sold. And people even criticized they had VIP. They did VIP, and what you paid for the VIP, you got that as a credit at the merch stand. So think about that for a minute. There's bands out there charging $300 VIP for you to shake their hand and take a picture and get a t-shirt. These guys charged $100 VIP, and $100 of that VIP ticket that you bought went towards the merch stand. So you got to see the sound check, you got to meet the guys, and you got $100 towards merch. So
so it's completely fair deal.
Very fair. You still get criticized. So to me, it's like this:
no matter what you do,
you always going to be criticized. So I think as a band, you just have to sometimes take a step back and have somebody in charge of your PR, in charge of your media, in charge of that kind of stuff. That doesn't take those attacks personally, because eventually they become personal. And I think.
Sorry.
No, I think that's the only criticism that I have. It's that you as a band, if you're going to do something, you have to do it in a way that you don't put yourself ahead of the band and you're the focus of the criticism. So that's, to me, it's the only thing. So to me, I think the way they handled it could have been done better. But overall, I don't have an issue with Patreon. I mean, if I don't want to pay for it, then I don't pay for it. Nobody's forcing me to pay for it. It's just because the thing is, people are like, but if I want to watch that video from their tour, now I have to pay for it. Well, they had to spend money to make that video from their tour. I mean, it's a catch-22.
Their social media is full of free stuff, and they said that they're still going to have free Instagram stories, posts, and videos, and they just do extra effort. To provide some extra if you want to support the band financially. The only difference now between having like a fundraiser that, hey, can you support us with money so that we can keep the expenses going? They actually provide something, And it's completely voluntary. And about your point, hiring a PR person, that costs money. Again, you're hiring someone. And with what money are you going to pay? He probably has to do that himself because it would be too expensive to get someone to do the PR. And the other point is, Wintersun is Jari. It's really hard to, even if he wrote it with Wintersun account and not Jari account, he would still probably, people would know it's Jari. So it doesn't make really difference if he signs it as Jari or not. So it's really hard. It's really hard for him to distance the person from the band entity. So even though I understand your criticism, I also understand that it's not that easy to make it in a better way. It's
and on that note, we gotta call it a quits. I see Diane walking around in the background. She must be hungry. We haven't had lunch yet, So
okay.
sorry for all the
sorry.
malfunctioning, but at least we got to do 2 streams today.
Yeah, now you learn the hitch, so like now you know what to do on the next one.
Just one-on-one.
Yeah.
All right, Salo, thank you. By the way, you don't mind that I call you by your last name, do you?
No, of course not. Yeah.
I just it's such a cool name, Salo.
And it's funny. It's fun because when you say it, then I always know it's Pedro because it's Salo, because everyone else says like Mikael or Mikke. So
there you go. It's our special thing.
Yeah. Yeah, our special romantic bromance ball.
All right, Salo. Thank you very much for your time today, and we'll stay in touch.
Yeah. Enjoy your lunch and your day.
Bye.
And cheers, Diane.